outlandish beliefs that 30 years ago would have landed them either socially ostracized or institutionalized.
Senator Ted Cruz of Texas said at a press briefing earlier this week that, quote, "To the best of my knowledge, there is zero evidence that anything related to anything like weather modification." When asked about speculation, he added, "The internet is a strange place. People can come up with all sorts of crazy theories."
/weather. They're working on the weather like they're working on your brain. And if you don't...
So, look, Ted, the problem with Ted is he walks in with the Bible, holds up the Bible. I call him Lying Ted.
I've heard that.
Puts down the Bible, and then he lies. I've never seen a man lie this much.
Subdivisions, put them in the air. Chemtrails, conspiracy, crazy old man. But the website says it all. The state has a plan.
Cloud seeding is a real thing. The technology has improved drastically over the years since it was really evolved. Can you talk about that? How widespread is cloud seeding?
Iodide of silver and some other chemicals. Timing and targeting are factors critical.
It's still, interestingly enough, rather inconclusive. We found that 5-10% of the precipitation in very dry climates that are frequently cloud seeded.
Weather. They're working on the weather like they're working on your brain. And
cloud seeding is a research thing that involves essentially nucleating clouds. We knew the atmosphere was moisture loaded, but we didn't necessarily see a trigger.
Seeding operations over target areas.
We didn't need that over Texas. When the atmosphere is at 100% humidity, you have the remnants of a tropical storm moving through. You have 50,000-foot tall thunderstorms and 4 trillion gallons of water coming down. The atmosphere does not need any help. So the idea that cloud seeding is somehow manufacturing an entire massive weather system is just outlandish.
Newton wasn't real. Here comes a perfect storm headed for Kerrville. A plane took off from Pleasanton and dropped some flares all night. Then we woke up in the morning and we watched the river rise. www.tdlr.
Weather manipulation. Weather manipulation involves cloud seeding.
/weather. They're working on the weather like they're working on your brain. And if you don't fall in line, you won't get any rain. That's www.tdlr.
Let's say I'm in eastern New Mexico and I desperately need rain. But I'm in also, there's another farm in far western Texas near, let's say, Levelland, Texas, that also needs the rain. If there's a cloud that's drifting from eastern New Mexico into West Texas and it's going to rain eventually, but they seed it a little early and the rain falls out of it early, did that farmer in New Mexico usurp the moisture from the farmer in Texas? It's too, but it's like, for example, if you have a river on the ground that's moving through different countries and one dams it for a nuclear power plant and you reduce the flow to the other country, whose fault is that?
They don't like liars. Evangelicals do not like liars. Last night was a romp. So, look, Ted, the problem with Ted is he walks in with the Bible, holds up the Bible. I call him Lying Ted.
I've heard that.
Puts down the Bible, and then he lies. I've never seen a man lie this much. I call him Lying Ted. He's Lying Ted. And, that's his name. And I think, frankly, that name is stuck because the evangelicals are on my side.
Senator Ted Cruz of Texas said at a press briefing earlier this week that, quote, "To the best of my knowledge, there is zero evidence that